This is not a tour. We are not tour guides. This is a moment seen through a window of a West Oakland, Uptown, Lake Merritt, Fruitvale, East Oakland home. Our city is holy. My city is holy. So we stitch, spray, drape our prayers across unapologetic bodies and miles of burners along the Amtrak line. The histories they once told us no longer make sense here. In the same year, Oakland was rated one of the top 5 destinations to visit in the world. It was also rated the 4th most dangerous city in the country. In the midst of these contradictions, the First Friday event grew. Like a sweet poem between gold teeth. When everyone was searching for a place to belong, here they felt invited and welcome. It started as a simple event, a monthly art crawl organized by a handful of galleries.
The first Friday of every month has become a showcase night for Bay Area artists.
But then, it grew.
Something extraordinary is happening under the most unlikely of circumstances.
23rd and Telly turned cultural mecca. The first Friday of every month, we'd bend black metal misperceptions of who we be when we be our best. Vanguards of the movement, musicians of every genre, artists of every discipline, vendors of vintage suitcases and must-have knickknacks. I'm telling you, it was old school, new school, 5th gen, rich folks, working class, Acorn in the Ville, artsy youth and tech professionals, from Adams Point to Temescal to the Murder Dubs to 8 Deuce and Mac and back, where broken thieves steal childhood dreams. There is nothing simple about us. February 1st, just before 10:55 p.m., an argument, shouts, shots break out.
Damn, man.
Black boy bodies fall like dominoes in the middle of the dance floor. One breaks open against pavement like a horror no metaphor will claim.
Well, that's why Oakland can't have anything.
Keontae Campbell is 18 years old. Our story begins 1 month after the shooting, but our story is not about death. Our purpose is a living question. How does my community pray over bones we hope to resurrect? And what will happen tonight? Look, no part of this town is immune to plumes of gunpowder. Folks here know that. But last month's murder happened under a spotlight. And this is the last thing city officials need. Not now, and especially not here. First Friday gives the national press a new reason to talk about us, and they are not letting it go down without a fight.
About that all the vendors basically have to be reporting into the city. Basically, this is what it's looking like, right? Is that the city is saying that we got to report to them. I have issue with that.
The question is, what are we going to do?
Push back.
Push back? How? I bet if it was up to the police, there would be no First Friday, but they're probably getting pushback from the city to keep this going because it's such a good thing. You know, I don't have a better plan than what they have, but in light of this murder that happened that no one seems to be talking about, I can kind of see where they're at.
Who's to say it may not be another homicide this First Fridays, right? Because there's no structure, there's no vendors, there's nothing for people to really do. And the devil workshop is the idle time.
When those young people come in with their problems, here they are, these young people again, these young violent kids, they're not gonna leave their problems. So whatever they're coming to, they're bringing it with them. And it really is the thing, they need help. This is what they need, and it's not your job, but guess what? It's your job. It's your job.
We need to firstly determine who is First Fridays for. Is First Fridays for the people of Oakland, or is First Fridays for the people that the city of Oakland wishes to attract? Very important.
Right.
We're going back to the same thing. The whole city is being reshaped as a product of this right here.
Yes, that's true.
You could see the flares. It almost looked like a firecracker and made that kind of pop. And immediately people just started running.
There are stories about my city.
In Oakland, California, the protesters are pushing back.
Metal barricades and a line of riot police are now surrounding City Hall Plaza here.
Gentrification is in full swing as people flee the high cost of living in San Francisco.
Have you heard them too?
The shooting reflects the lawlessness in parts of
Two new videos surfaced today in the shooting death of a young man by a BART police officer.
Chicago, Brooklyn, London, Ferguson. If you look closely, you might see yourself in my scars. As a kid, James Copes vividly remembers the sting of being young, black, and poor.
Whoa.
Real power is working for yourself, his mother would say.
That's not good. That is not good. Hold on. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Oh, Lord. That's all I need today.
I grew up here, always wanted to be in business in Oakland because I saw the struggle that my mother had to go through. Oakland is just a great place because it has this small town touch with this big city feel, you know, which makes it unique. People can feel the soul. And I feel like I belong. I'm part of something. I always wanted to grow up and have my business in Oakland. It's so much talent coming here. And this has become what the second hottest art market outside of New York. We surpassed San Francisco. They've moved into Oakland because it's a great bargain, it's a great opportunity. We got to pull this together, and so we can lift all the boats. This is Renaissance. We need to dig in and say, I'm staying, I'm part of this. We helped to create this. If you don't know about the history of something, you ain't too cool. You may be hip, but you don't know what's going on.
Hey, yeah, man, how's it going, man? All right.
I remember my childhood very dearly in West Oakland. That's why I'm old school.
Old school Copes.
These are the people who run First Fridays. Volunteers and unpaid organizers like Old School Copes. Up until last month's shooting, it's always been the people who ran the show. But things are about to get a little complicated. The city has imposed restrictions on the size and duration of the event, while organizers are trying to preserve the original spirit of First Fridays.
We want to keep it that way. We don't want to. We want to have some organization, but at the same time, we don't want to have a control structure like every place else. Otherwise, we won't
exactly.
be.
That's kind of what I've been thinking about. Like, I wonder if kind of part of the point of this whole mess is like it's supposed to be a little disorganized. I mean, the whole event just grew out of the street. You know, it's not like some corporate, top-down, like sterile, clean festival you've seen before.
And that's what we want to be able to maintain, so we won't end up being like every other situation that exists without in the country.
Exactly.
New York Times would not have wrote an article about us if we were like everybody else.
They about to lose anything out of me.
All right, cool.
Here's the movers and the shakers.
Hello.
Hey, Mama.
Wait, don't leave me.
How are you?
I'm good.
We're moving, you know, we're trying to keep it moving. It's a lot. But you know, when a community has not had a touch in a long time, there's a huge demand. I'm just trying to make sure that we're in the mode of rescue, not get taken under.
Yes.
right? You know what I mean? Like, you see the person drowning, if you don't know how to pull them out the water, they'll pull you under. So that's how I feel. And then I use Barack, because Barack makes it to dinner most nights, and he goes to every performance. So I was like, if Barack can do it, all I got is Oakland. I ain't got the whole country. Oh, wow. I'm heading up.
There's something about Oakland that has attracted multiple generations and multiple ethnic groups that have always been engaged in social change and justice. And I think that has influenced and characterized the ongoing personality of the city.
Let's see if we can work with them. Let's give them some time, because they were duped by the state, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it was when they went dark on us that we could no longer offer them any cover. And, you know, threats of lawsuits and all that other kind of stuff, they're like, fine, come on with it. We'll take the suit, we'll do whatever else. Oh, she didn't clean up this wax very well. It's sticky. In my hair.
Before politics, Lynette worked at a nonprofit advocating for affordable housing. The highest concentration of defaults, trustee sales, and bank-owned properties are in her district, where First Fridays takes place. Last year, rent prices rose 56%.
Good morning.
Hi. I changed the job.
Resourceful, adaptable, and resilient. 3 words that describe Casey Castro and the city he calls home. Raised in the foster care system, Casey learned early on how to carve safe spaces for himself.
Tell someone who's not from Oakland, oh, I'm from Oakland, they automatically assume violent, danger, a lot of gangs. Pretty much every day there's something else in the news about an Oakland shooting. That's all people hear about. But it's just like, we're proud to say we're from Oakland.
So what is it like to go to First Friday? No, for real, tell me.
James, Jazz.
I know Jazz. That's a girl, right?
No, it's not. It's a boy.
Did I go here?
Does he go here?
That Jazz?
Edward, Jasiri,
Edward?
Jael.
My cousin Edward? My cousin Jasiri?
Kaylani's gonna be in LA.
Kaylani, my cousin? Kaylani,
Oh my God.
Oh my God, you come with my family.
Okay.
How do you know our family?
How do you have so many cousins is the question.
Edward's my
Black
blood
people think everybody's
cousin.
a cousin,
right?
No, Edward and Jasiri is my blood cousins. Kaylani, I just call her my cousin because since her and Edward been friends for so long, and me and Kaylani been knowing each other since like this small at Black Rep, so that's how I know her.
So how you think? What do you think about the people start shooting at
First Friday? Nice question. Answer the question.
Right now, you're being interviewed.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Why is it frustrating?
Because like they could ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, but now we gotta start shutting down at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
That's
it used to be
cool.
like 8 blocks, and then they shortened it.
Yeah, it was
and
like
there's
4 last.
It used to be like a lot more families and stuff.
And
And now it's
today.
just like
It used to go down to
yeah.
London.
Yeah.
It's just like basically a big old function.
Ratchet. It used to be really long. It starts at like the Fox Theater, and it's just like, it used to be, there'd be a lot of galleries open and you could just go and see like a bunch of art, and now it's kind of turned into, there's a bunch of like food trucks and a bunch of music playing, and like, if you've heard, every first Friday of every month. And if you've heard of like the shootings, there was a shooting last First Friday, and there was a shooting the First Friday before.
You know, I might have, yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you want to go to something like that?
That's what people ask me.
I know that some of you guys go to First Friday on a semi-regular basis. Y'all made it so I can't even have fun there anymore. I got to be responsible all the time.
I don't even know what it is.
But I will say that, you know, given what's happened the past couple months, there has been, you know, a little bit of violence. I'm just curious kind of how some of your perceptions have changed around the event.
It's really bad that a lot of us can't go in one spot without, you know, having to worry about danger when it's supposed to be like a fun, like friendly, like family-oriented spot.
There's barely any art anymore, and like Ramon was saying, like, it's all a big like social thing. You feel me? Like, oh, I'm gonna go to First Friday and I'm gonna fight this person, or I saw this person and she was talking on me, so I'm gonna do something.
I would already hear people saying like, oh, it's gonna eventually get shot up, or oh, eventually something bad is gonna happen. Like, they'd already like had this preconception that like it was gonna happen because it was in Oakland.
When people hear about Oakland, all they hear about is like violence. I try to like describe the good stuff and actually let people know that it's not Oakland that's bad, it's just the people in Oakland. I just respect it. Did I say something wrong?
We said we're all bad people.
But not us, it's other people. Certain people.
Luke is a key force behind Respect Our City, a campaign that started in the wake of Keontae Campbell's death.
1, 2, 3, green
Each green shirt is a moral doctrine, an attempt by Oakland citizens to reclaim pride and positive investment in the city.
I'm old school Copes. I'm the block coordinator. All right, so you know that we're gonna have a moment of silence. You know all about that?
No, I haven't heard.
We're not gonna sell anything. We're not gonna show anything. We're gonna work together.
They said maybe you should close it down for the next month. Kind of take a break. And we said, no, I think the best way to honor is to keep it going.
No one will talk during that time. The whole environment will be quiet to honor the murder, the death of that young man and others who have been murdered and killed in Oakland. What you got here are bullets.
That's right.
And that's not going to work today. What happens is when people see this, it's not, you know, it's a very sensitive thing. We're not talking about every other day, but just today. Because what we're doing is we're honoring the death of that young man and others who have been murdered in the city of Oakland.
That certainly is a problem. Right?
Yeah, and if the city's seen that they're going to be on my case because they pulled a permit. So
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Out of respect,
yeah.
So like I said, I
certainly have my opinion about the whole situation, but I can see I'm here today.
Yeah. I totally understand that. So I'm gonna look forward to seeing you perhaps next First Fridays.
Well, until somebody else gets shot for incompetence.
Well, no. Until somebody else gets shot, people get shot all over the world. I don't want you to, you know. I trust that we don't even want to think about that someone will be shot again. You know.
My mom would wave at every car that went past and every person that walked by, she would greet them. And I just thought it was so embarrassing as a kid, like, oh my God, Mom. But now later in my life, I find myself greeting as many people as I can. Arion, wrong shirt.
I wore my accident yesterday.
I know.
Want to be out here First Friday?
I think that being the person that's going to set a different tone, I think that's really important if we're going to kind of warm up the city. How you guys doing?
Hey, Brad, tell me if you like that picture of you.
It's gorgeous. All right. Like a lot of people are scared.
I think a lot of people are scared, and I think that as long as whoever's taking pictures tonight, whoever's doing whatever, as long as we keep it honest and hopefully the honest is positive, then it's gonna show people like, yo, come back. You know what I mean? Because a hell of people are like, I don't want to get shot. One cat, I flashed my homeboy on Twitter today. He was like, oh yeah, I like living, so I'm not gonna be there. I'm like, that's some cat ass shit, bro.
But at the same time, like when I talk to my students about it, I was like, I can't encourage them to come.
Right.
Because if they feel uncomfortable, their parents feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, my personal ideology is like, you can't be afraid of your city.
Right.
You know, something bad happens, you got to reclaim space. You know.
As the party gets going outside, community members are invited to discuss the lack of safe space for Oakland youth.
Just Oakland. Want to have a moment to just recognize that everybody's coming with your own personal story that represents why you're inspired to be here today.
I think a safe place would be awesome because I feel like every kid sort of feels left out of something. And if this was something where everyone was welcome, it was inclusive, and it was a safe place, that would be really cool.
I know. There's a huge disconnect between people that look like me and the youth. And part of that problem is we point the finger at the youth like we never did none of that stuff. And if we did do that stuff, they learned directly from our example. So the first thing that we need to do is start making amends with them by first apologizing for the mess that we caused. So if we can, I'm calling us out. So one of the first things I do whenever I meet a youth is say, I'm sorry for people that look like me that did you dirty.
I guess one thing, like I had a really good friend that died and who was shot, so gun violence is a really big issue.
Obviously the community is not doing so great when people that I know or people that go to my school are dying.
Deontay was our student, and then the first homicide in Oakland this year was one of my prior students as well. So by the time they had Keontae's burial, which was early February, I had been to 3 funerals. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this is what, March 1st?
It's March 1st.
Yeah.
It's not even spring yet.
Yeah.
The first image that we want to create is, what is the recurrent reality? What is it like right now? For young people, 1 or 2 people will come out and start the image, and then people will add themselves in.
Okay, babe.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It's about a 2-minute wait and 2 minutes in line. We have controlled chaos here.
The new restrictions imposed by the city threatens the youth stage, one of the only venues dedicated to promoting the voices of First Friday's youngest artists.
It was made very clear that only 2 permits were being issued for amplified sound, and that was by the good graces of Chief Jordan, who had originally said we were going to have 1, and he agreed to a second. 3 stages is not part of the program.
These young people have put a lot of effort and energy, and I don't think Phoenix or anyone else. No, they were through the blueprint.
I made my point clear, and I'm not gonna change that. Okay, so the 2 people that were permitted, they're fine. Everyone else has got to go.
Without the right permit, the youth stage gets shut down.
of East Oakland teenager Alan Bluford. Chief Jordan, do your job. Arrest and prosecute Officer Miguel Masso.
Shortly after midnight on May 6, 2012, 18-year-old Alan Bluford was shot and killed by Officer Miguel Masso of the Oakland Police Department. 4 shots were fired. Bluford was hit once in the shoulder and twice in the chest. A report released by the Alameda County District Attorney's Office states that Mr. Masso acted in self-defense when he shot Alan Bluford. The report does not cite the witnesses canvassed by the police who claim Bluford was both unarmed and heard crying, "I didn't do anything." It was later discovered that the 4th bullet fired also came from Masso's gun. The policeman had shot himself in the foot. Alan Bluford was 2 weeks away from graduating high school.
Damn, they even cut that side off. It's just down here. That's crazy.
It's got way smaller.
It's like a quarter of the size it was. Not even, probably.
Hey guys!
But that's raw, look at that. What? That fucking painting. Having police does make it safer, but not for everybody. Especially if you're a black teenager. They're always seen as criminals. I've been stopped before. I've been arrested before. They don't even have to do anything.
See, it can't be that dangerous, if people bring their children out in strollers. It got really big around August of last year or so. Yeah, there was a couple months where it just ramped up and became crazy. You can tell the atmosphere seems a lot more quiet, at least so far. And is this a memorial? I feel like it might be, right? If it was a fight without guns, probably a kid wouldn't have died.
But see, what people don't get is that it's equally as dangerous as a mission. If it's 3 bullets flying around hitting,
What people don't realize about what? You're saying in terms of stereotyping Oakland, or are you talking about the fact that, a really large number of Oakland kids die every year? Yeah, so you see the smoke, that's like food truck smoke.
How'd you hear about Oakland first time? You've been out before, it's your first time coming out?
No, I used to be an artist here.
You used to be an artist here? Yes. Were you in the galleries or on the street?
Down on 25th and one of the
Oh, on
galleries.
20, yes.
The collectives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you still exhibiting or are you doing
Yeah, I was
art?
coming down tonight to see what's happening. It's kind of sad to see it so small now.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot more people here will be coming out tonight.
Well, I'm just sad to see that it's so downsized after last month.
And we're gonna trust that we'll expand it
and
again.
grow again.
Which one is your favorite?
I don't think I have a favorite.
I have the car in the middle, and then the matted 8x10s, and then the 5x7s.
I'm good, I'm Lynette.
I'm Steven.
Hi Steven, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for coming. Is this all your stuff, or you out here doing stuff for other people?
No, this is all my stuff. Thank you.
Are you an Oakland artist?
I am now. I just got here. I moved here from New Mexico.
Welcome to the, how long have you been here?
Well, I just moved today.
This
Really?
is fantastic.
I came in, I pulled in, I dropped off all my stuff. I didn't think I was going to have time to
So
make
did you
it.
move here just because of First Fridays?
It was a big reason because I came here late last year. I came here to the area a few times last year,
right?
And before that. But last year, around November, I did the art murmur just like this, and along with a lot of other reasons, that kicked it over the top. I was like, you know what, this is great.
I believe that communities are dynamic, cities are living.
Right, they're living.
There's always a cycle, there are migrations always in a healthy city.
Yeah,
Right.
but
And
there's
so-
always two sides to it. Like there's an argument, right, that all this brings growth, but if the people themselves aren't invested in it, and it's become like a spectacle of sorts, or if there becomes real rate, because there's real. I have buddies that I went to Cal, right, and my friends moved to West Oakland, and they know what their role in that community is, and it's a changing community in a way that maybe some of the residents might not be so cool to, you know.
So yeah, but when you show up, you don't come to dominate or replace, right?
No.
Like if you got to be gentle when you arrive at any place, right? Like to flow with the people and add value.
Yeah.
But there are people who come with a mind to this place and to be discourteous and to be rude, and I've seen that on West Oakland streets. Like I went when I was out campaigning on one particular street. I was talking to a guy who was third generation in this house, right? Like he lives in a beautiful Victorian, and behind him is his brother, his grandmother, and his grandparents had like owned so many of these old Victorians at a point where black people could own. But on his street, there were new people, right? And so he was like, oh, that's a lesbian couple over there, they hella cool. And then this couple over here, and this is young professionals, and there's a black woman over here. Like he was laying out all of the new people. And after those houses had been vacant for so long, he welcomed all the new people. And then there was one guy, hey, what's up? Thank you. But then there was one cat across the street who was just like, in his opinion, an unashamed, unabashed a-hole, right? He was like this, I don't know, broker from San Francisco who was rude to everybody. He was like, I don't even think white people want him. I mean, he was like that kind of character.
Yeah.
So people can come into community and be authentic, even though they may not share the race or socioeconomic footprint. And then other people can come and not be a part of community.
And then the legislators can think about addressing the systemic poverty and also the cost of living, right? Like the rent.
Yeah. So those are the things that we have to do to make sure that we're whole.
But we just have to be decent neighbors and good to the communities that
Be good to the community. Love people where you are and give where you are. I believe in building community and giving service where you are.
That's beautiful.
Okay. What's your name?
I'm Shane.
Okay, Shane. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you moving to are you still over in the city?
I'm in the city, but
okay.
it's the top of my mind.
Stay in the city if you want to. Just leave all your money in Oakland.
I coined the phrase Oaktown. Literally coined the phrase Oaktown back in 1987. That's original, young man. Growing up in Oakland, that's what we said. We couldn't cuss in front of adults, so we'd say, what the heck, I'm having a good time. That's where it came from back in the day. Everybody loves Oakland.
Wow.
I think it's the ball. It's not necessarily.
Could be.
I think it's the ball. You know, it's Cisco, so you see through everything. So.
Right. Messes with my eyes.
Why are you up so bad?
I need to make the entrance music when Andre Ward fight for the championship. Cause I represent Oakland, ain't no denying that. Like the AIDS elephant or the radar eye patch. They say our people lost, they follow me then. It's Indian summer, I guess I'll be the chief then. My city needs something to believe in. Until Al Davis going to the Warriors play defense. I guess it's me then, Here for one reason, to give you that feeling like we on top. We on top now. Only thing above us is the sky. Look around, ain't no ground. We don't walk no more, we fly. I don't walk no more. I don't walk no more. I fly.
Like I said, Oakland has always been a great city. This is not like Oakland is something new. People say, oh, Oakland. We've been here. We've been doing great things. You know, we need to have people creating art and selling it on the streets. Europe, when you go to Europe, you find that a lot, even in Berkeley. We need it in here.
Resistance is as much a part of Oakland as art and culture. And resistance can take many forms. Tonight, an anti-police protest crashes First Friday because, well, this is where the city comes to be seen. Years of fatal shootings and misconduct with little accountability have given us plenty of reason to be angry with the police. Sometimes, these protests end in acts of vandalism that end up overshadowing the original message.
You just have a bunch of people like, fuck the police, and it's kind of like, what? We're like having a nice moment trying to produce something rather than take something down. And it also was like the vibe that was created. I think people weren't in that state of mind.
They can be the people that make one thing happen. There's the domino effect that everything gets shut down. And they were sanctioned to do it down, like from, I want to say from 20th to like Franco Gallo Platinum. My guess is that nothing was popping down there, so it's like, where the
Let's
people
just
at?
go find some drama.
And it's like, don't bring that shit my way because
like how we can, I don't know if they need to be, somebody need to step to them, like who's even
that's what
involved
I'm saying.
in
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
But I also, like,
that was the same shit that happened with the Oscar Grant shit, the same shit that happened with Occupy. It was a lot of that.
But most of them are not from here.
No, and that's
They're
a
not
lot of
from
the
here.
arrests.
But to me, like, I really get hung up on that piece. But then I'm like, actually, I also don't care if you're from here. That shit's still disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, even if you are, like, because I think they're so used to hearing that argument. They're like, well, we have members that are from here. It's like, but if anyone on your block does some disrespectful shit to you, you're not like, oh, are you from this neighborhood? Okay, cool, you can do disrespectful shit.
Right.
You're like, that was disrespectful.
Period.
That's not something I can get down with. So I feel like that's hella true. Like, this is not your pseudo-revolutionary playground to come commute and, play Grand Theft Anarchist, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, even if you are here, like, I'm still not in support, so.
I hella want you to tweet that.
Oh, I'll make the note. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. It is 9 p.m. We're going to have a moment of silence throughout the, hello, excuse me. We're going to take a moment and have a moment of silence. So let's just be quiet for just 1 minute, if you would, please. And the event is officially over for tonight. It's ending early.
First Fridays is a resilient movement, y'all. It's not an event. I have been more convinced of that in the last few weeks. Because as we gathered here last month, some tragic things happened on the doorstep. And I thank you all for being here tonight. To not give up on Oakland tonight. To not be afraid of who we are tonight. First Fridays is a resistance movement. It says we will bring beauty in places that other people have abandoned. It says that we won't allow anybody to call us a ghetto. This is the moment of silence that we declare tonight in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. We come in peace, we're going to leave in peace. Throw your peace signs up. Thank you, thank you. For Keontae. We're doing this as a moment of silence in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. We're asking for silence all over the footprint right now. Throw your peace signs up. We're asking for a moment of silence in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. Throw your peace signs up. This is that moment of peace for Keontae. We're doing this as a moment of silence in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. We're asking for silence all over the footprint right now. Throw your peace signs up. We're asking for a moment of silence in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. This is a moment of silence for Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. 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 This is a moment of silence as we come to a close tonight. We're remembering Keontae Campbell. This is a moment of silence on the footprint as we remember Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. This is the time that we dedicated to remembering Keontae and to all those who have lost their lives to violence on these streets. Throw your peace signs up. Like this. Throw your peace signs up. Thank you, thank you. This is the moment of silence that we declare tonight in memory of Keontae Campbell. Throw your peace signs up. We come in peace, we're going to leave in peace. Throw your peace signs up. Thank you, thank you.
Everybody left, Jazz and all them.
Yeah, left.
There wasn't even hella people over there, huh?
Yeah. Because they blocked the whole thing. They put like gates up and everything at
So you can't even go to the park?
Yeah, you can't go.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know, they should just cancel the whole ass thing instead of having like a wannabe First Friday, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's not even the same. It's like, it's only like 2 blocks. Can't even do anything really.
This is gonna be an awesome beer garden. And this is gonna be an oyster bar.
Yeah, sure. Is that the result though, Danny? I know you appreciate these things and they're all good, but
no, I just want commerce. I'm sorry, I'm a planner, so like, for me, the more business that happens, the happier I am. There's nothing else. I just like I like the idea of like empty spaces being occupied and having people. Like I am so happy when people come downtown and they like are happy to like go to places like these old buildings that were built 100 years ago and have people like do things in them now and to be happy and to enjoy themselves. I think that's great.
A few blocks ahead, Jean Kwan, mayor of Oakland, also heads home.
Come on, Jean Kwan, don't walk away from me. Come back and talk to me. Is that you, Jean Kwan, down there in your green jacket? Hello, everyone. Telegraph ad, do you see her down there in her green jacket? Jean Kwan, in charge of Oakland Police Department, who killed 18-year-old Alan Bluford. 18-year-old Alan Bluford, about to graduate from Skyline High 2 weeks away, did nothing wrong and was killed by Officer Miguel Masso. Oh well, there she goes. She did run away from me, but I'm not giving up. I'm not going away. May 5th, I'll be back there. I'll be out in front of the DA's office demanding justice for Alan Bluford. Oh, wait. All power to the people, y'all. Power to the people.
But a lot of the people aren't even coming. I think a lot of people stopped going after the shootings. Once you shorten it a lot, you know, put a curfew on it, like, it's whack. I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, it's not First Friday anymore.
If you ain't know, boy, then bring me some change, because I'm bringing you some wisdom we can make in exchange. If you ain't heard yet, I'm trying to relieve the pain, because in my brain, the end brain feeling insane. I be in the same spot where they've been slanging the cane. Not me, do you see? Shit, I got CDs, and I'm giving them away for damn near like free. But if you ain't heard yet, I'm from that SLT. I give props to Tupac, I'm saying rest in peace to the LOIE. And you ain't heard about me, but it's the first Friday, so come and ride with a G. And it ain't nothing to this kid, this is off of my lid. And the dreads is growing long, so I ain't wearing no wigs, and we don't fuck with the pigs. Man, swallow these kids. You ain't heard yet? Then cross the bridge. It's real shit. You did.
The night ends peacefully, at least here. The art gallery that helped create the First Friday boom now has to move. The landlord has tripled their rent. Across the street from where Keontae's body lay dead, an oyster bar is being built. My city is the sum of the voices who participate in it, the infinite variances that create its soul. But my city is changing so fast, like so many cities. So many voices getting silenced, pushed out. Years from now, will we recognize them? Will we even remember the prayer for the bones that we once hoped to resurrect? Will we want to give them our name?